Hi. So I wanted to talk today about a new service that I'm offering here at the Skin Room, and then also give you some tips on filling in your brows at home. So I just added to my menu a service called the Brow Experience, and this is a very in-depth brow service. This isn't just your quick 5-minute $5 eyebrow wax that you can get anywhere. With this service, we shape your brows, wax, tweeze, trim. We tint them if needed, and then we work on how you should be moving forward, filling them in at home to make growing your brows into the shape that you want as easy as possible on you. So this is a really in-depth service. I give you a lot of information. We go over the lines and the points that your brow should have for your particular bone structure. So if you've had an experience where your eyebrows were over tweezed, over waxed, or they just didn't come out to be the shape that you wanted them to be, this service is definitely for you. And I had an experience a few months back, which is what opened my eyes to the need for a service like this in this area. There are so many places, like I said, that you can get a $5 eyebrow wax, and it's so quick. They don't measure your brows, they don't comb them, they don't trim them, they just wax them, and you're out. Um, and that's not what everybody needs. Some people need something a little bit more. So a couple months back, I decided to get my eyebrows threaded, which is a really cool thing. And the girl did exactly what I'm sure she was taught, which is what I was taught in beauty school. The old traditional kind of method of measuring eyebrows is there's three lines that you base it on. So one is from the corner of your nose up. That's where your brow should start. Now, the next line is from the corner of your nose to the outside of your color of your eye. That's where your arch should start. And then the next one is from the corner of your nose to the corner of your eye. That's where your brow should end. So that is kind of the old-fashioned method of measuring eyebrows. And a lot of people still do it like that. But there is a much more modern approach to eyebrows now. And that's what you see most people with, and that's what actually works for most people's faces a little bit better. So the more modern method of eyebrow measuring kind of changes where your brow should start. So rather than from this corner of your nose up, it's more from the center of your nostril up. So as you can see, if I'm measuring from the center of my nostril up, I don't have any hair there, because when I had my eyebrows threaded, she based it on the old-fashioned method, which is fine. That's what she was taught to do. I personally like my eyebrows to go in a little bit further. So now I'm in the situation where I need to grow them in, and it's really, really hard. So one thing that makes it easier while you're trying to grow hairs in, if you have um, bald spots or you have issues like I do where you want them to come in a little bit further, it helps to fill them in at home. That way you feel more confident in everyday life because your brows look as though they're perfect. Because as you can see, and I just waxed my eyebrows so they're a little bit red, I have I have a bald spot there. I've just always naturally had it. My arch starts a little bit too soon. Should be a little bit more over here. And then I have, of course, this issue where I'm trying to grow it in a little bit further. So I have less than perfect eyebrows, but filling them in the mornings makes me feel better about it. So I wanted to kind of give you a quick little rundown on how I do mine. If you come in for the Brow Experience service, I would customize to you a little bit more how you should be filling them in. Some prefer eyebrow pencils, some people prefer eyebrow powders. It's partly based on preference and partly based on what your bone structure can support. I personally use powder on my eyebrows. This doesn't mean that it would be perfect for you, but you certainly should try it and see if you like the way it looks. So I start with a brow powder. This is a fairly dark one, and I have fairly dark eyebrows, so it works. A lot of people would need something a little bit lighter. So I use my brow powder and my eyebrow pencil. It's kind of at a slant, pretty skinny. Um, so what you want to do is you want to get color on your brush. And then what I like to do is kind of outline where I want my brow to be. So you start kind of where you want it to start, and you just make a really straight line. And then you can come down. I don't need a lot of filling in my tail of my eyebrow because there's no bald spots or anything, but for the purpose of this video, I'll show you how to do it. So that's how you want to do the bottom. You can see that I have this line here. And then you would want to do the same on the top. So I start where I want my brow to start. And just go right across. So I know it's kind of hard to see in the camera, but I now have kind of an outline of where I want my eyebrow to be. So once you have that, you don't need to put any more color on your brush. Just take it and brush it up into your brow, and this takes a little bit of patience. And at this point, don't worry if that line underneath there starts to get a little bit smudged and jagged because we'll fix it. A little extra in the corner there. So now that I have kind of the shape of how I want my brow, I do want to put a little bit more color on my brush and just fill in this little bald spot that I have. I don't know if you can really see it on the camera, but I do have it. So do you see how my eyebrow is just a little bit more defined now? And it looks as though it comes in further than it does. So now what you want to do is you want to highlight under your brow, and that gives it more definition. And like right now where I've waxed, it will conceal the redness a little bit. So I do like to highlight under people's brows after I do their waxing. So what you want to do is take your highlighter, put a little bit on a concealer brush or smudge brush, whatever you have. And you want to make a line of it under your whole brow. Get it right up in there. And you want to have quite a lot, and again my camera isn't showing it very well, but I do have quite a lot of highlighter on there. It's a pretty thick line of it. So once you get the highlighter on, take your brush and kind of go like a windshield wiper and just blend it right in. Blend it right up into your brow bone. And that kind of helps to blend that jagged line. Like I said, if you have a little jagged line of color, And you can highlight on top if you want to, you don't really need to. Um, but as you can see, my brow is just a little bit more defined now. And then you can kind of blend the powder in with a little clean mascara wand. Just kind of comb it upwards. And that is my finished brow. So that's how I would wear it every day. If I wanted it to be a little bit more defined, I would work at filling in this area a little bit more. Um, and I could do that by just adding a little bit more color. And you want to do hair-like strokes because you want it to look natural. You want it to look like it's your hair, not powder. So there is my finished brow. And compared to this one, it looks a lot better, right? See this one, you can tell that I have that area right here that should have hair in it. This one, not so much. It looks like it's as full as it should be, even though it's really not. So you can definitely use brow filling in um, to your advantage and really make your eyebrows look perfect every day, even if they're not. So that's kind of a little bit of what we talk about when you come in for the brow experience service. I don't just wax your brows and send you on your way. I really go over information with you that you need to make your brows look good at home. And I help you to decide what your measurements should be. In this day and age, we can't all base it on this, this, and this. There are so many more lines and points that should be in our eyebrows that we need to take into consideration. So that's what I really like to do. I like to show you um, why your brows might need to be different than somebody else's, and how it relates to your bone structure. And the goal is just to get those perfect brows, brows on fleek. See you later.